Hello and welcome to this Monday edition of the World Report with me, Priyanka Das. Let's take a look at what's making headlines around the world. China's National Rescue Team successfully pulled a female resident alive from the wreckage of a collapsed hotel in quake-hit Mandalay city in Myanmar on Monday. Nearly 60 hours after a 7.7 magnitude earthquake struck the country, the female survivor, found with stable vital signs, was pulled from the rubble of the Great Wall Hotel following a 5-hour operation. She is the first person saved by the China Search and Rescue Team since their arrival in the hardest-hit city on Sunday afternoon. The devastating earthquake left half of the hotel severely tilted with the ground floor reduced to rubble. There is a new twist at the Chatuchak building collapse site in Thailand's Bangkok, where my colleague Vishal Vivek has been getting us the latest updates since Friday. Thai police have detained 4 Chinese nationals, employees of a joint venture company, after they unlawfully entered the restricted disaster zone on Sunday. Their mission to retrieve dozens of critical documents from the rubble. Authorities say the men ignored clear disaster warnings. In fact, the police are also examining the seized documents to determine if they are connected to the building's collapse. Now they face legal charges under the Disaster Prevention and Mitigation Act, potential prison time, hefty fines, and the wrath of a city shaken by disaster. Vishal Vivek gets you all the latest. We have learned that the latest but 4 Chinese nationals have been detained at the site of the skyscraper that collapsed in Bangkok following the earthquake that struck on Friday. Now, the 7.7 magnitude, of course, has wreaked havoc in neighboring Myanmar. But the latest we learned that the Chinese company that was behind the construction of the skyscraper has now been embroiled in a new controversy. This after 4 Chinese nationals who trespassed and unlawfully entered the building zone without the required permits or any permissions whatsoever. Now they face legal repercussions with hefty fines and potential prison time for the Chinese nationals who have been detained. The Chatuchak building collapse site has a new development with 4 Chinese nationals being detained by the authorities after they trespassed onto the property. Now, of course, there is an element where it is being investigated whether the 4 individuals were related to the company that has been employing the people for the construction of the building as well. Do note that the rubble on the screen that you see, there's plenty of people still trapped under the debris with very minimal successful rescue operation at the moment. The situation not looking very rosy. Let's move on to my colleague Vishal, who's joining us live from Bangkok. Vishal, what details do we have on the Chinese nationals who have been detained so far?
So the latest is that 11 bodies were pulled out in the last 3 days, but so far the authorities here have not been able to pull out anyone alive. The latest is that I spoke with the Deputy Governor of Bangkok a few moments ago, and she told me that they still have hopes of finding people alive, though the 3-day window to rescue anyone alive has passed, but they have said that they are still hopeful of extracting most of the people who are buried inside that tall structure, which is mostly just a rubble now. They have hopes that they will be able to extract most of those people alive. That seems to be a tall order now, because the experts have been saying that 3-day window will be crucial if they have to extract anyone alive, and that window is almost over now. It's more than 72 hours. It will be really difficult to find anyone alive, and the Bangkok police itself had told me yesterday that the chances of survival for the people who are trapped inside is down to just 1%. So it's a wait and watch game. It's a race against time. Call it whatever you may, but it's really dire situation. The situation continues to be in a desperate lot. The authorities are doing all they can to extract people. You can see lorries coming out each in every 5 to 10 minutes. These lorries keep out the debris, because the whole area is occupied with concrete, slabs, steel. There are beams, there are huge beams that need to be separated from the steel. So it's a mess out there, but the authorities have the technology at their disposal to execute this operation. They also have help of foreign nationals, foreign agencies, Israeli rescue personnel have been spotted here. US Army Special Forces were spotted here. They are coordinating with the local authorities to extract the people, but they have had only one vital sign since the morning, and that vital sign itself was quite weak, is what the authorities have told me. But they are still hopeful, and they have told me that they will continue to dig through for at least a month, and it's just been 3 days. So they will continue to work on this for at least 27 more days, is what they have told me. And some of them have told that it can take more than 2 months to clear out this wreckage. So all of that will have to be seen, and there's also the angle of Chinese people being involved in the stealing of some documents from this area.
Thank you so much, Vishal, for getting us all the latest from Bangkok, as there are more twists and turns really emerging with the Chinese element coming to the fore. Now, moving on to the next story we're tracking is in yet another fresh escalation of tensions in West Asia, US President Donald Trump has issued a stark warning to Iran. Speaking with NBC News, Trump declared if they don't make a deal, there will be bombing, the likes of which they've never seen before. The threat comes after Iran rejected direct talks with the US, citing Washington's maximum pressure campaign and military threats. Now, Trump also has hinted at reimposing secondary tariffs if Tehran refuses to negotiate. We'll give it a few weeks, Trump said. Meanwhile, Iran insists it will only engage in indirect talks with its president, Masoud Pezeshkian, reiterating that its supreme leader Khamenei's stance. US President Donald Trump is turning up the heat on both Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelensky, expressing frustration as he pushes for a deal to end the war in Ukraine. Speaking from Mar-a-Lago, Trump didn't hold back, calling Putin's criticism of Zelensky as disrespectful and saying he was angry, pissed off over Russia's latest remarks, questioning Ukraine's legitimacy. Listen up.
I think he'll be okay. But if he isn't, I was disappointed in a certain way. Some of the things that were said over the last day or two having to do with Zelensky, because when he considers Zelensky not credible, he's supposed to be making a deal with him, whether you like him or you don't like him. So I wasn't happy with that. But I think he's going to be good.
But Trump didn't stop there. He slammed Zelensky too, accusing the Ukrainian leader of trying to back out of a key rare earth minerals deal and suggesting Zelensky's NATO ambitions were unrealistic.
I think Zelensky, by the way, I see he's trying to back out of the rare earth deal. And if he does that, he's got some problems, big problems. We made a deal on rare earth. And now he's saying, well, I want to renegotiate the deal. He wants to be a member of NATO. Well, he was never going to be a member of NATO. He understands that. So if he's looking to renegotiate the deal, he's got big problems.
As Russia rejects US ceasefire proposals and the war rages on, Trump hinted also at the tougher sanctions and even tariffs to force Russia's hand. If I think they're tapping us along, I will not be happy about it, he warned. With tensions escalating, the path to peace seems more tangled than ever. Elon Musk gave out $1 million checks on Sunday to 2 Wisconsin voters, declaring them spokespeople for his political group ahead of a Wisconsin Supreme Court election that the tech billionaire cast is critical to President Donald Trump's agenda and the future of civilization. Musk and the groups he supports have spent more than $20 million to help conservative favorite Brad Schimmel end Tuesday's race, which will determine the ideological makeup of a court likely to decide the key issues in a perennial battleground state. Hundreds of people marched in the Dominican town of Punta Cana on Sunday to demand tougher measures against Haitian migrants. The march was organized by the ultra-nationalist group Antigua Orden Dominicana, whose members led the demonstration wearing paramilitary uniforms. The president of the Antigua Orden Dominica, Angelo Vasquez, called for a national strike to force the government to implement tougher deportation measures. The popular tourist resort of Punta Cana is home to a large population of Haitian nationals who work in the tourism and construction sectors. A flight carrying 175 Venezuelan migrants deported from the United States arrived in Caracas on Sunday. It is the third group to arrive in Venezuela since repatriation flights resumed a week ago. Among this group is an alleged member of a criminal organization. Venezuelan authorities said that Interior Minister Diosdado Cabello, who received them at the airport terminal, said that the 175 returnees are coming back after having been subjected as all Venezuelans to persecution, and rejected the accusations that they belong to the criminal organization El Tren de Aragua. Russian drones hit a military hospital, shopping center, apartment blocks and other buildings in Kharkiv overnight into Sunday, killing 2 people and wounding 30 others, Ukrainian officials said. The Ukrainian Air Force reported that Russia fired 111 exploding drones and decoys into the latest wave of the attacks overnight on Sunday. It said 65 of them were intercepted and another 35 were lost, likely having been electronically jammed. Russia's Ministry of Defense, meanwhile, said its air defense system shot down 6 Ukrainian drones. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has repeated his demand for Hamas to disarm and for its leaders to leave Gaza on Sunday. He has said that Israel would keep pressurizing Hamas and implement US President Donald Trump's voluntary immigration plan for Gaza. Israel's Prime Minister told his Greek counterpart Sunday that the 2 countries share common challenges and face many opportunities during a meeting in Jerusalem. Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu greeted Greek Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis warmly before praising his efforts to transform the Greek economy. He said the two would discuss security and economic issues. Along with Cyprus, Greece and Israel are developing an ambitious undersea electricity cable to link up their power grids. Mitsotakis referred to the strategic partnership with Israel and stressed that he wanted to focus on defense cooperation. Hong Kong airline Cathay Pacific on Monday flew a passenger jet low, dipping past skyscrapers and making a massive turn, just like planes had to do to land in Hong Kong's old airport up until 1998. The stunt was to highlight a sports event, the annual Rugby Sevens competition, which for the first time is taking place at the new stadium built where Hong Kong's old airport used to be. Before 1998, Hong Kong's international airport was in the center of the city, and the approach to landing was famous for bringing planes on a steep curve right over apartment blocks. Sunday's Cathay Pacific flight was a reminder of what Hong Kong used to be. Muslims around the world are celebrating Eid ul-Fitr, one of the biggest celebrations in the Islamic calendar. Eid ul-Fitr, which means festival of the breaking of the fast, is celebrated at the end of Ramadan, a month of fasting for many adults as well as spiritual reflection and prayer. And before we dip into a quick break, here's a snippet from my colleague Gauri Dwivedi's exclusive conversation with Bhutan Prime Minister Tshering Tobgay and how India has shaped him.
How have you seen the India-Bhutan relationship develop, grow closer? It's always been a very important relationship, but how have you seen its growth in the last couple of decades?
Well, you can call it a relationship, but really, it is a friendship. It is a brotherhood. Our friendship with India has always been strong. And if anything, it is getting stronger. We are neighbors but by geography, but we are friends by choice.
And what would be your future expectations from this relationship going forward, whether it is in terms of economic partnerships? There's been the railway line that has come up between Kokrajhar and, of course, Jilipu town in Bhutan. There is the economic partnership, and then, of course, there are other cultural and social partnerships. How do you see all of that going forward in times to come?
Well, other neighbors, other relationships might have expectations. In our case, we have assurances. There is a deep trust between our two countries, our two peoples, our two governments. India, we don't need to expect anything because the Indian government, under the stellar leadership of Prime Minister Modi ji, who I refer to as my elder brother, who I refer to as my mentor, who is my mentor, we don't need to expect anything because we receive so many assurances from him and the Indian government. We have a railway line that's going to connect India to Western Bhutan, but more importantly, India has already started, has given us assurances and have also decided on building a railway line that's going to connect to central Bhutan, which goes bang to the Gailfu Mindfulness City.
Welcome back. On the markets front, indexes fell sharply in Japan Monday morning as automakers felt more pressure following US President Donald Trump's announcement that he plans to impose 25% tariffs on auto imports. Honda Motor fell 2.6%, Toyota Motors sank 2.8% in Tokyo, while South Korea's Hyundai Motor fell 2.6% in Seoul. Stock markets worldwide will likely remain shaky as an April 2nd deadline approaches for more tariffs. That's what Trump has called Liberation Day, when he will roll out tariffs tailored to each of the United States' trading partners. Oil markets on Monday shrugged off US President Donald Trump's threat to hit buyers of Russian oil with tariffs as the shock value of the barrage of the threats from the White House begins to wear thin with jaded traders. Trump's off-the-cuff proposal to hit any country buying Russian oil with a 25% to 50% tariff would be significant for oil markets if it turned into an order, but analysts and traders questioned whether the president's latest threat was serious. South Korea, China and Japan have held their first economic dialogue in 5 years on Sunday. They're attempting to facilitate regional trade as the three Asian export powers tackle US President Donald Trump's tariffs. The countries' trade ministries have agreed to closely cooperate for comprehensive and high-level talks on a South Korea-Japan-China free trade agreement to deal with, promote regional and global trade. China's domestically produced C909 aircraft was delivered to Lao Airline on Sunday, marking its first entry into the Lao market. The C909 aircraft, featuring a 90-seat all-economy class configuration, was delivered under a leasing arrangement. Now, according to the aircraft maker, Commercial Aircraft Corporation of China Limited, the C909 bears interior and exterior signage in Lao, a custom-designed livery, and a print of the Dok Champa national flower of Laos on its tail. It is expected to undergo a series of preparations in the country before entering commercial operations. President Donald Trump said a deal with TikTok's Chinese parent ByteDance to sell short video app used 170 million Americans would be struck before a deadline on Saturday. Trump set the April 5th deadline in January for TikTok to find a non-Chinese buyer or face a US ban on national security grounds due to have taken effect that month under a 2024 law. We have a lot of potential buyers, Trump told reporters on the Air Force One late on Sunday. And there's tremendous interest in TikTok, adding, "I'd like to see TikTok remain alive." According to the Bloomberg report, Apple's team is working on Project Mulberry, which will see the Apple Health app completely revamped, adding a health coach via an AI agent to replicate some of the analysis done by a real doctor. Reportedly, Apple's upcoming health app will collect data from all the users' devices like iPhone, Apple Watch, earbuds, and even third-party products. The AI agent in the app will then use this data to make personalized recommendations to improve the user's health. Google has announced that non-paying users can now access its most advanced artificial intelligence model, the experimental version of Gemini 2.5 Pro. Previously available only to advanced subscribers, this update allows all users to experience the AI's capabilities for free, albeit with stricter usage limits for those without a subscription. The model is now accessible via Google AI Studio and the Gemini app. Gemini 2.5 Pro is taking off, the team is sprinting, TPUs are running hot, and we want to get our most intelligent model into more people's hands ASAP. Which is why we decided to roll out Gemini 2.5 Pro to all Gemini users beginning today, the company announced in a post on social media platform X. In the Miami Open on Sunday, 19-year-old Czech player Jakub Mensik beat Serbia's Djokovic to clinch his first ATP Tour title. Mensik is the 9th youngest Masters 1000 champion and the 3rd youngest in Miami after Carlos Alcaraz and Rafael Nadal. In Miami, he beat 3 top 10 players, including Djokovic, Britain's Jack Draper, and American Taylor Fritz, to lift the biggest title of his career. However, this win for Djokovic, a 24-time Grand Slam champion, would have made him the 3rd man in the Open era to win 100 singles titles. Richard Chamberlain, the handsome hero of the 1960s television series Dr. Kildare, who found his second career as an award-winning king of the mini-series, has died. He was 90. Chamberlain died Saturday night in Waimanalo, Hawaii, of complications following a stroke. According to his publicist Harlan Broll, tall, with classic good looks and romantic style, Chamberlain became an instant favorite with teenage girls as a compassionate physician on the TV series that aired from 1961 to 1966. Photoplay magazine named him the most popular male star for 3 years in a row from 1963 to 65. Not until 2003 did he acknowledge publicly what Hollywood insiders had long known, that he was gay. He made the revelation in his autobiography, Shattered Love. It's time for us to take a short break. Lots more coming up on the other side. Stay tuned.